Picture this. Someone walks up to you at a party, smiling like your old friends, and says, "Great to see you again." You smile back, nod, say something warm and vague, and internally you are in complete free fall because you have absolutely no idea who this person is. You've met them, probably more than once, and yet their name has vanished so completely it feels like it was never there to begin with. Here's the strange part. This isn't a memory failure, not really. If it were, you'd forget everything about them, but you don't. You remember the joke they told last time. You remember they hate mushrooms. You remember the color of their jacket, just not the 3 or 4 syllables that are supposed to be the most basic fact about a human being. So what is actually going on in your head when this happens? Because once you understand it, you stop feeling like a bad person every time it does. Let's start with the moment someone is introduced to you. It looks simple from the outside. A name gets said, you hear it done. But your brain, in that exact second, is running about 5 different programs at once. It's scanning their face. It's reading their tone. It's trying to figure out how this conversation is supposed to go. It's even quietly assessing whether you're being judged. Somewhere in the middle of all that noise, a single, brand new, meaningless sound gets dropped into your head, "I'm Anna," and your brain, which is already overloaded, is expected to just catch it perfectly on the first try with 0 context. That last part is the real problem, the lack of context. Psychologists have shown, in study after study, that we remember things far better when they connect to something we already understand. A name, on its own, connects to nothing. It doesn't describe a job. It doesn't paint a picture. It's not attached to an emotion. It's just a label floating alone with no hooks to grab onto. Compare that to almost anything else about a person, what they do for a living, what they said that made you laugh, the story about their dog, all of that comes preloaded with meaning. Your brain doesn't have to work to store it. A name is the one piece of information you're handed that arrives completely empty. Now here's where it gets a little more personal. A lot of people who forget names constantly aren't careless. They're actually overthinking the interaction while it's happening. While the other person is saying their name, part of their brain is busy running an entirely different script. Am I smiling too much? Should I have said something else back? Is this handshake weird? That inner narration is loud, and it eats up exactly the kind of short-term mental space a name needs in order to stick. This isn't a rare glitch. Psychologists studying group conversations have long noticed that people rehearsing what they're about to say next tend to barely register what was just said to them, because part of their attention has already jumped ahead. If you live even slightly in that anxious, self-monitoring headspace during introductions, the name never really had a fair shot at landing in the first place. It's also worth pausing on the other side of this, the person whose name kept slipping away. Because being forgotten does sting, and pretending it doesn't would be dishonest. It can feel like a quiet verdict. I didn't leave enough of a mark to be remembered. But that reaction, understandable as it is, usually isn't accurate. The person who forgot your name almost certainly remembers plenty about you, what you talked about, how the conversation felt, some small detail that stuck. They weren't ignoring you. Their memory simply didn't file away the one detail that happens to be the hardest one for any brain to hold onto. And that gets at something most people misunderstand about memory in general. It isn't a recording. Your brain isn't storing a transcript of every conversation you have. It's storing impressions, feelings, fragments that felt important in the moment. Something surprising gets kept. Something emotional gets kept. Something that links to a memory you already had gets kept. A single arbitrary sound, handed to you in the middle of trying to seem composed in front of a near stranger, is exactly the kind of detail that memory quietly decides isn't worth the storage space. There's a pattern here too, among people who chronically forget names. They tend to think in stories, not labels. Ask them what someone was wearing, what the room felt like, what was said, and they'll paint you a full picture. Ask them what that person is called, and there's nothing. It's not that their memory is weak. It's shaped differently, built for narrative and emotional detail, rather than for holding onto a single disconnected word under social pressure. That's not a flaw. It's just a different kind of wiring, one that often comes with being a genuinely attentive listener in every other way. None of this means you shouldn't try to get better at it. Saying someone's name back right after you hear it, linking it to something familiar, picturing it written down, these small tricks work precisely because they force your brain to manually build the connection it wasn't going to build on its own. You're creating the hook that wasn't there before. But the guilt, the quiet belief that forgetting a name makes you inconsiderate or distant, that part deserves to be let go. You're not someone who fails to notice people. You're someone whose attention gets pulled toward everything except the one thing that was never designed to be memorable in the first place. The name was always going to be the hardest part to keep. Everything else you remembered about them, that's the part that actually mattered, and it was there the whole time.